I'm Bubba.
And we're the Bench Warmers.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Welcome to the Bench Warmers.
We're back.
We're back, baby.
Back.
Guess what freaking time it is? It's national championship for college football playoff time, baby.
Oh, yeah.
Let's get them pick'ems up. So, we don't have the papers.
Okay, just remember.
Yeah, well, we don't really need the papers. It's a national championship.
I lost it.
I had Miami and Alabama in the national championship. Now, my dear Alabama didn't quite make it. But don't laugh at me. Don't laugh at me. We're not going to do this.
Hey,
Okay.
Who's your daddy?
We're not talking about
So,
My fault. I apologize.
Okay.
I apologize.
but I did have Miami, so I got it 50% right. And I'm passing it over to BJ.
All right. So my final one from the beginning was Indiana and Georgia. The Georgia one didn't go my way, but 1 for 2, that's some pretty good odds. So, but yeah, I got Indiana. I've had Indiana winning. I knew Indiana would be the team to make it and win it all. So,
How about Kurt Cignetti, man? How about Kurt Cignetti?
honestly,
I mean, if anybody were to fill Nick Saban's shoes, it would have to be Kurt Cignetti.
better than Nick Saban.
Whoa.
I'm just kidding.
Whoa.
I'm kidding.
They're 24 years
Don't kill
old.
me, Alabamians.
You're an Alabamian, too.
Kill me. Yeah, but like not. But there's an Alabamian, and then there's like an Alabamian, like roll tide all the way.
I don't give a piss about nothing but the Tide, baby. That's
I don't
that's
give
what
a
that
piss
is.
about the time.
Yeah, I don't give a piss about the Tide. To be fair, I hate Georgia more than I hate Alabama, though.
You're an Auburn fan. You should hate.
I mean, yeah, I hate Bama, but like, dude, I can't stand Georgia.
All right, get into your.
Honestly,
On that topic though, I had Georgia and Texas Tech in the national championship. Didn't exactly go my way. I thought Texas Tech was going to do better against Oregon. Oregon came out swinging a lot better than I thought they did. I know this was 2 weeks ago, but now we've got Indiana and Miami in the national championship. This is going to be a good one. It feels good not having Bama, Georgia, or Ohio State in the Natty
yeah.
for once. You got Indiana and Miami. Carson Beck versus Fernando Mendoza.
This underdog national championship is it's beautiful.
Now I wish Ole Miss was in to play Indiana, but hey, that's just my personal feeling. All right, Bennett, how'd you do?
I had Bama versus Ole Miss. My Ole Miss picked. They looked really good there all the way up to the semifinal when Carson Beck put the cape on there at the end. Carson Beck is just good enough for Miami to not lose. But I truly do think this is the right national championship coming from you have the best team in the nation, Indiana, to a quote unquote we thought fringe team was in not Indiana but Miami. That thus proves the point of the group of 5, either one or none should be in. But we'll get to that point later if we want to. But I'll start the pick'ems here. I was thinking about this earlier. I was talking to my dad. If it's a close game, 1-2 scores, at the end of the day, I think it will go to Miami. But if it's a blowout, it's going to go to Indiana. But I really don't think it's going to be a blowout. But I'm gonna take my gut here. I'm gonna go Indiana. This is a really tough pick for me. But at the end of the day, Fernando Mendoza is going back to home, going back to play Miami at Miami, the place where he wanted to play. I'm gonna take Fernando Mendoza and the Hoosiers. Who's your daddy?
Okay. So I know that we're being more professional now. I'm sorry, BJ, but we can get a little loud. But who's your daddy? You don't have to Hoosier.
Yeah. Hold on, let me. Can I get a redo?
I probably just
Redo?
I probably just ruined the mic.
Redo.
That's better.
That was good. Okay,
better.
I'm sorry. Whoever wants to pick him next, I'm really sorry about that.
Yeah, you got it, BB.
All right, me next. All right. Personally, I've got Fernando Mendoza and them Hoosiers. Miami's a pretty good football team. Carson Beck, dude, the running back, he's a good runner. He was running all over Ole Miss's defense last week. But I still think the way that Indiana's been able to capitalize in big moments. The way, even though Fernando Mendoza's stats are not super, super high, he is still playing top-tier football right now. He can still make those good throws, and he can still come up whenever the lights get bright. So give me Indiana by at least I'm going to say at least a score and a field goal.
All right. So I've had Indiana from the start, and I think my reason for that, especially going against Miami, is just the fact that Miami has been just good enough in their big games to where, and I don't think they're just good enough is good enough for Indiana, because like Texas A&M, they were just good enough. Ole Miss, they were just good enough, and then it's not every game, but especially with Carson Beck, I just feel like Carson Beck's gonna fold under the pressure of the national championship, because going from being at Georgia and a lot of people hating on him, and then he's going to Miami, and yeah, he had he proved people wrong, but at the same time, I don't know, I think he's gonna fold under that pressure.
Let me just say this. Miami has not lost a game by more than 7 points since 2023. That's a true stat. What? Versus Miami?
No, Miami beat Ole Miss by 4.
Yeah, they have Miami hasn't lost a game. Miami hasn't lost a game by more than 7 since 2023.
My bad.
So it's gonna be close. I can't pick Indiana because I look at Miami's defensive line, and I know Indiana's offensive line make fun of me, whatever. I don't care. I don't think they're gonna hold up. I really don't. Like, they'll probably hold up to start the game, but I just think Miami's aggressiveness on defense, it'll hurt them some, obviously with penalties and everything. But I truly think Indiana has not faced they haven't faced a crazy team yet, like an actual crazy team. And I just think Miami's gonna be able to run it on them too.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you said they haven't lost a game by more than 7 since 2023, but if I don't really think past years matter that much. And if you think about it, Indiana hasn't lost a game at all this year, and they have, like, you can kind of argue that they haven't played very many good teams, but then whenever it came to games like Alabama and all those big games, I think they played better in the big games than they did in the smaller games. Like Alabama, they went off, but then in some of the smaller games, they did good, but not that good.
I think I think they're out of the buzzsaw mode at this point, and I think they revert back to that kind of like just trying to get by like they did versus Ohio State. Like it was 13-10. I really think Miami's gonna win like 20-13. That's what I think. I think they're gonna kind of get conservative because they think they're, I don't think Miami's gonna come out firing, or Indiana's gonna come out firing. You can think whatever you want, Bennett, with your face over there.
All right. I got a point right here. Also, for the Indiana-Ohio State game, before that, they had really not played anybody besides Oregon and beat them 20-10. This was still whenever everybody was doubting, like, hey, I know Indiana's undefeated, but they're not that big, bad team. And they beat Ohio State by 3, and everybody was like, well, they're kind of good, but they're not the best. But now that they've made this awesome playoff run, everybody's starting to realize that they're a pretty dadgum good football team. Also, 3 secondary defensive players for Miami got hurt last week. How is that going to hurt them in the passing game against the Heisman-winning quarterback?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
They had to put a true freshman corner in for most of the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and Miami's going to be hitting the ground running with the football, and then Indiana's going to try to pass the ball on the Miami's going to come out running the ball, and Indiana, I feel like, is going to come out passing on the opportunity with 3 hurt defenders.
I think I don't like your take, Bubba, because here's my thing. When has Indiana under Kirk Cincinnati ever been quote unquote conservative? Shout out my dad.
They only
here.
scored 13 on Ohio State. Miami did what Indiana did to Ohio State, but better.
But here's my
Miami
thing.
did the exact same thing that Ohio State did, but they did it. Miami did the exact same thing that Indiana did, but they did it better versus Ohio State.
You're not
they
wrong.
Were better.
But here's a point. I like. Shout out my dad. what Indiana does better than anyone else in the country is when you mess up, they capitalize it right there. It doesn't have to be a turnover. It can be a 3 and out, and they go score, or a field goal, or a momentum change, or something. They capitalize on issues. They're more disciplined. They don't play conservative. Okay? Listen, they go behind them hoggies up front, okay? They run the ball when they got to. They're really efficient at that, right? They double team, they brace bang. When it's time to pass, they freaking pass. And what's his name? Becker, number 80 for Indiana. He's coming back. You know, he was hurt in the semifinal game. And another thing, I kind of like what BJ said earlier. Don't get me wrong. Indiana didn't play a lot of quote-unquote great teams, you know, until Ohio State, like kind of like what you said, Bubba. But when the stakes are high, they raise their own standard. They elevate their game, right? You know, like against Oregon. At that time, they were on a heater in the semifinal, okay? And they dropped 55?
All right. So, what are we thinking? What are we thinking? Transfer portal time?
I have one more comment on the discussion. You use the point of like Miami did it better, but if you look at regular season Indiana compared to postseason Indiana, it is two completely different football teams.
Yeah.
Because Ohio State game, 13-10, that was not their best moment like that. But then you look at the Alabama game, you look at really just any game that they have played since the Oregon game, literally any game that they played in the postseason just tramples any game that they played in the regular season. And I don't agree with the fact that you should just I don't think they were holding back on purpose, obviously, but I think I don't agree with the fact that you shouldn't play that good and then once it gets to a big game then you play good. But that's what they did, and now they are a whole different level. Like beating Indiana is so much harder now than it was 6 weeks ago.
Yeah. I think that Ohio State Indiana game was more of a testament to the fact that Julian Sand wasn't actually a good quarterback, because he kind of only 10 points. Like it was less. I feel like it was less of a defensive show and more of an offensive. Collapse. At least in Ohio State, Indiana was kind of their defense. Their defense put Julian Sand in the box.
I think it's time for some transfer portal. I think it's time for some transfer portal action. We got Cam Coleman going to Texas, and we got Deuce Knight going to Ole Miss.
I think that's really huge for Ole Miss. Of course, getting Deuce Knight, dynamic player, but he's still very raw. Hook'em Horns there, getting a big guy there, a lot of NIL money there. Something I like to see is I'll talk about this. Dante Moore coming back to Oregon, escaping the Jets and the number 2 overall pick, and Dylan Raiola still going to Oregon. He says he was willing to sit a year. Now he's going to prove it. Then, of course, Ty Simpson's going to the draft now. But does this Dante Moore move prove that NIL is now more enticing than going to the NFL?
Well, with the Dylan Raiola thing, Dante Moore did the exact same thing. Dante Moore was a starter, transferred to Oregon, sat under Dylan Gabriel, and then came out.
That's
so
true.
I feel like it's kind of the method at that point. Just kind of sit out a year. Dylan Raiola's also dealt with some injuries, so just let him get healthy. There's no pressure to come back and play hurt. Just get healthy and just train for a year because there's no pressure.
I agree. But I will say this. I think down the stretch next year, kind of talking about the future here, I think Dan Lanning and the Morgan Ducks is someone you don't want to play.
I think Oregon's a Tier 2 program who takes Dan Lanning for granted constantly. Oregon without Dan Lanning would be a middle-of-the-pack, maybe above-average Big Ten team.
That's a fair take.
Dan Lanning is Oregon.
That's a fair take. So, back on what we were talking about last week about the Alabama quarterback situation, we now know that Ty Simpson is going in the draft, so we have Austin Mack and Keon Russell for a quarterback match.
Yeah, do we think Austin Mack is going to end up being the starter, or do we think Keelan Russell is going to outperform him?
I think they could honestly go two-way because Russell he's 6'6", he's 235. He's got good weight on him, but he's also fast and he's got a lot of stride to him. So I feel like if they're playing more of a rushing game where they can run a QB sneak, they'll run with Russell. But I feel like Austin Mack is a way better passer, in my opinion.
I feel like Austin Mack is way more well-rounded. Keelan Russell clearly hasn't beat talent-wise.
Yeah.
And Keelan Russell's also faster. So if we can find a way, if we get rid of Grubb and get rid of our line coach and get some new linemen, if we can find a way to run the ball, we'll want Keelan in there for that.
Dual threat.
Yeah, dual threat to where you can just, pull it anytime. With Austin Mack, you can still pull it, and he's still athletic, but he's not going to break runs like Keelan Russell will if he starts.
Yeah, because also, it could be another situation where Cam Newton and Cody Burns, where it's like you got one guy that's got to play receiver. They could put Russell out there in the wideout.
But what about
Hey.
6'6" Austin Mack?
Yeah, I was because Keelan Russell probably hasn't beat talent wise as you said, but if it comes down to pressure too, because if you think about it, Austin Mack had so much pressure on him in the Indiana game, and they knew that they were gonna lose at the point that he came in. It was kind of obvious that they were gonna lose, but Austin Mack came in there and he performed pretty decently, got them to field goal range. I mean, and he had he ever played for Alabama before, or was that his first ever?
Yeah, he played a little bit.
No, he didn't start, but
Yeah.
Not starting. It was his first time getting in.
I'd completely disagree. I think there was zero pressure because we were already down by 30.
yeah. But if you think about it, whether you're up by 30 or you're down by 30, if you go, or even if it's a tie game, tie game's so much different story. But there's still so much pressure not playing for that team ever before, being young and going out there in front of tens of thousands of people and under tons of pressure, and also you're kind of showing your coaches whether or not you can truly play for the next year, because his QB battle started right there. That position battle started with the Indiana game.
I just feel like, yes, there was pressure, but I just think it was more of a thing of let's just get to the end of this game. I really don't think the coaches overanalyzed it too much. I really think they were in the mode of we're never going to talk about this again. Let's be honest. We're going to go inside. We're going to say, hey, love you, seniors, and then just never speak of this again. Because, nothing about it was good. You can't – yes, you could self-reflect, but after those 2 months after the game, you're probably never going to go back and watch that film ever again.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be another situation whenever Saban lost to who did he lose to? That was embarrassing whenever he first got to – yeah, whenever he lost to UL Monroe at whenever he first got there. I think it's another situation like that, but it's in playoffs as well. It's not during the regular season. And it's not a bum team, but I don't think Alabama has ever been beat that hard in a while since probably that game.
No, we didn't get beat that bad.
Yeah, Bama hasn't gotten beat that bad in a
Since
minute.
I think it was 2008, the year I was born. It was either that or it was 19-something.
Yeah, it's been a minute since they've lost by that bad. Because last year with Georgia, we thought that they were going to lose that bad, and then Alabama just and ended up or wait, no, it was the other way around, wasn't it? Alabama was up by 33 and almost lost.
Yeah, we were up by 33,
Never mind.
and then I turned off the game. Then I turned it back on to watch fourth.
Yeah,
quarter.
I got that backwards, but then that was the Ryan
Crazy.
Williams. Ryan Williams. Last time Ryan Williams actually did something. Blake Shapen, I think
He's the GOAT.
he should
The
be.
GOAT!
He should be first overall in the draft.
Okay, this is. I know we're mainly college football, but this is real talk since it's pretty recent. Will Fernando Mendoza, will he be this good at the next level in the NFL?
Or do we have a Tim Tebow situation?
Or is he Tim Tebow? Like BB said.
Fernando Mendoza in NFL.
Will he be good?
I think he really benefits from the Kurt Cignati system. I'm not really sure. Yes, he makes throws that you can make on Saturday and Sunday, good throws, great throws. It's just
It's all down to the system.
they're blowing people out so bad that it comes down to can he perform in the big moments, because The only close game they had, they won by 3, and they scored 13. The only close game they had, which they scored 30 on Indiana, or 30 on Oregon, which is a different story. Special guest is back, part 2, apparently.
Me personally, I truly don't think Fernando Mendoza can perform in the NFL. But he's also kind of a guy who just lives off of doubters and just proves people wrong. So who knows nowadays?
Honestly, I don't think he's going to be amazing in the NFL. I think this team is carried. Well, not I wouldn't say carried. Like, they are very disciplined, but their discipline, it definitely starts with their coach. Curtis Ignetti is genuinely like that. I've never seen a team that disciplined, especially in big games like this. Or I mean, I don't know about never, but they're so disciplined when it comes to like defense and not like simple not jumping. Like, you would think it's easy because they've been doing it for 8 years, but like
That's what I was literally just about to say. They've been in college for 14 years, so I hope they're disciplined.
That's what you need. You need experience players.
yeah, but no, because I saw somebody in like a comment section saying like, okay, but Indiana's average age is more than some like NFL teams' whole like draft stock. But then in Miami, they have more of an average age than Indiana does.
Can we fact check that?
I don't know. That's just what I saw. I could be wrong. I didn't like go and research everybody's age, but
Hold on. We're going to fact check that really quick. What do we... Give us 1 second, guys. We're fact checking.
we'll be right back.
Just put some elevator music in right here. They'll be fine.
Something we're not talking about here, while we're, of course, looking up average age here, I think this game's going to come down to the trenches. The national championship game.
That's least to most.
Who can block the line better? Okay? Who can establish the run is going to win the game. I'll tell you this. Miami has some of the 2 best tackles I've ever seen in college football. On the left side, you have the 6'9", tall dude. On the right, you have the 6'6" dude, but like he's really technical. He's going to go top 5 in the draft. Then Miami has Bain and Mesidor. Me personally, I think Bain should be the first overall pick. I mean, he is Myles Garrett level in my opinion. But here's something I haven't really thought about. Indiana's on D-line, they're not that bad. And their front seven's really freaking good. And their offensive line's really good. They brace bang, they double team really well. They have a great pad level. I mean, they get after it. The Hoggies get after it. As Fernando Mendoza says. Oh, we got it. Pick is in.
Okay, so Indiana as a team is older than Miami, but if you go starter for starter, Miami is 3 months older.
Yeah, so the people who actually play are older on average. So they're pretty evened out though.
Like, especially for Miami, they're having to go deep in their bag and play like true freshmen in the secondary. Like, they're getting injured
right
a
now.
lot.
Right now, their starters are probably less because they've had to put so many people in. But
The thing for me is, if somebody gets hurt with Indiana, right?
we know it's recorded.
Hold on. If somebody gets hurt with Indiana, you got another 22, 23-year-old to step up and go, I've been at JMU for 4 years, and now I'm here with Kurt Signetti, and I know the system compared to Miami throwing in a true freshman corner. I feel like that's a big advantage Indiana has, is how old even their backups are.
Yeah, but
I would agree with that.
That's like counting all the stuff that happened to them in the last game. I think they do have the disadvantage, but I don't know. I just think the argument of Indiana's all old, so that means that they're going to be more disciplined and they have more experience. That, I don't know. I feel like that's just kind of irrelevant until now, because right now they're losing players. They're needing to put true freshmen in, but I don't know. For this game, yeah, they do have the age disadvantage.
Yeah, that was one thing that I was going to say, though, is because towards the beginning, whenever we were talking about the Alabama-Oklahoma game, first round, I was talking about depending on how Alabama does against Indiana is their injury report that comes out of the Oklahoma game. And I feel like that's also going to be another defeating factor for Miami in this game, is the amount of injuries that they got from the Ole Miss game, I think is going to be one of the reasons that holds them down. Also, I think they're tied second now or tied third for the highest amount of penalties in college football. They got 2 guys thrown out of the game. That's another thing. 2 guys thrown out of the game for targeting last week. So they're not even going to be playing the first half. And Indiana's 100% a first half football team.
I think one of them got it in the first half, so I think they'll be able to play. But that's just what comes with playing like Miami. Like,
Yeah.
they play like it's 60s football, like just running around and hitting people. Like, they will jump on you after the play. They don't care. Like, they're going to wear you out.
That's going to be a bad factor, though, for this game. If that
I-
happens
I
too
think
much
it
to
could
a
hurt
very
'em.
disciplined team.
I think it might hurt them. But I don't know. With how crazy this is, they've gotten every team they played riled up just like them.
Yeah.
Like, Ole Miss hadn't really been riled up, and then they got to Miami, and Miami was punching them, and they were punching back at that point. They were mad, too. Like, they got scrappy, too.
Yeah. All comes from Carson Beck.
Flyest white boy in Florida.
Yeah. I mean, hey.
Sid the Sloth, baby. Can he put the cape on?
No, he's gonna get absolutely mollywopped by Fernando Mendoza. So
So, just to recap on the picks, Bennett,
Indiana.
Indiana. Whoa, you had Miami.
No, I got Indiana. I told you from the start. Indiana. I
I,
said I'm going to go with my gut.
oh yeah, he
So-
did. He was talking like crazy on Miami, and then out of nowhere he was like, "But I gotta go with my gut, Indiana."
yeah. So, Bennett's got Indiana. I've got Indiana. Bubba, you got Miami, don't you?
All right,
Yo,
so
Canes, what you got,
we
BJ?
got 3 against 1. I got Indiana.
All right. Hey, we're going to put our little graphic. We're going to put our little scoreboard down here in the corner.
We'll try. We're gonna
Maybe.
try.
We're going to get something on the editing team that we don't
Bang.
have.
I'm 8 for 10, by the way, with the best record. Just saying.
Go Canes!
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
It's
You got
okay.
anything else? You got anything else, guys?
Like I've been saying, how about them 5 and 7 Tigers, baby?
How about them 5 and 7?
Byron Brown to the Tigers.
All right.
Go Tigers.
We've been Bubba.
And the bench warmers. See y'all next week. Happy Natty Week.